So listen, if you really want to get jacked up and get the most out of this investment you've made, nutrition is an absolute vital piece of the conversation, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a conversation about fitness off the cuff, from the heart, and hopefully help people understand the importance of eating right.
It is so crucial for your success. You cannot out-train a bad diet. And some tips that we're going to give you here are to clear up the confusion. There is so much confusion out there about nutrition, and I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be hard, but you do have to be knowledgeable about where to start.
So I'm going to say this. I've heard that saying a million times, but I disagree with it. You can outwork a bad diet, but my question is, who wants to work that hard? I certainly don't.
I don't know. If you have a Lamborghini and you pour Coke in the tank, is it going to drive? No, it's not going anywhere. So you've got to fuel your tank with optimal fuel that's going to help you get where you want to go. So let's talk about how to do that.
Okay, so let's start top of the line and work our way down.
Perfect.
People are super confused out there because if you go on Instagram, Facebook, and you scroll, you have one expert after another. High protein, no carbs, all fat. So what does a person do when they're doing that and they're seeing credible looking people like us making a point about how they should be eating?
Absolutely, and I will tell you what, of all the schools of diet, you've got paleo, you've got keto, there's a million diets. You guys have heard them all. However, there's one thing that all diets agree on, and that is to eat food in its natural form. And that's where I feel like we really have gone so far off base here, particularly in the US, is just eating too much processed food.
Yeah, so one ingredient food. So if there's anything, start taking notes. Write this down. One ingredient food. To give you an example of what that is, an apple. There's not a list of ingredients in an apple. So take an apple, and what will happen when you're eating an apple? There's no tendency to overeat like if you were to take something in a bag that's processed, because that's one of the biggest issues that people have is eating too much. So please, just open your heart right now and agree with me that that could possibly be the situation, because there's something that I refer to as the witching hour. We do great all day, and then 7 o'clock hits and everything just falls apart.
Absolutely, and just to your point there's like 20 potatoes in a bag of potato chips, maybe more. I could easily eat the whole bag. But if you put a bunch of potatoes in front of me, the volume in those foods, the fiber, the nutrients that get sucked out when you process it, that's why your body can't figure out when enough is enough. Now, so many good points in what you made there. I can name at least 500 foods that have one ingredient. So build your plate like that. Chicken, broccoli, rice. And listen, it doesn't have to be boring. You can add a little bit of butter, grass-fed preferably, season it up with some healthy seasonings, and you have a beautiful meal. But it does take a little bit of time, wouldn't you agree, to kind of retrain your palate to go back to eating normal, unprocessed foods?
Absolutely, because those processed foods are scientifically engineered to get you hooked. There are people who exist on this planet whose job is solely to create something that is so good that you crave this all the time. So I want to point out something that you said with all of the options that we have available, because here's the reality. All of those options will work.
Absolutely.
But I want you to write down another word: sustainability. Whatever you can do for the rest of your life. Neither one of us are pretending that these machines are magic, that the diets that or the nutritional programs that we're talking about are magic. It's your willingness to adapt your mindset to a process. So if you cannot do a paleo diet for the rest of your life, my recommendation would be don't start it, because who cares what happens in 12 weeks? We're talking about maximizing the rest of your life.
Absolutely. And to that point, it's so incredibly important to make small changes every day that you can continue. Make one small change. Maybe it's taking that processed snack and changing it out for an apple. Maybe you add in a handful of nuts. Small changes, and think about adding before you subtract. Don't take away your favorite processed food without replacing it with something that you also love. And having this thought process of, I'm going to add this in, then take that out, makes it easier.
So we want to keep this information in bite-sized pieces so you can digest it all and apply it to your life. So with that being said, we're going to break down protein, we're going to break down carbohydrates, we're going to break down fats and how it is really important to consume healthy fats like avocados. So I think a good place to go next would probably be protein.
Let's do it.